I was doing some research this morning to get your notes together, and I came across this really great saying that will help you guys remember what to do when you have signed numbers that you're adding, okay? So for our tips here, it says if signs are the same, you're going to find the sum, okay? The sum is an answer to an addition problem. So if you are adding two negatives, you're going to add them. If you're adding two positives, you're going to add them. Now, if the signs are different, so you have one negative and one positive, you're going to find the difference. Okay? I just like that saying because it flows well. So if the signs are the same, you're going to find the sum. If the signs are different, you're going to find the difference. Okay? Because at this point, using models, so using a number line and counters is going to be really hard to do. So we need to make sure that we know how to solve them using rules and not just relying on those models. Okay? Now, just like it says here, the signs are different. So we're going to find the difference, meaning that we're going to subtract. And remember that when you have decimals and you're subtracting, when you set up your subtraction, we're going to line up those decimals, even if it looks a little funky, okay? So it does look a little funky there, but we can always add zeros to make it not look so funky. So I'll put a little 0 here. Now we're going to subtract. After you do the work, you need to go back and find out what sign the answer should be. And in this case, the one that was bigger, had the greater absolute value, is this one right here, and it is positive. So that means our answer is going to be positive 25 hundredths. Okay? Yeah.
I didn't catch. Why did you turn the 5 into a 4?
Why did I do it?
Oh, where? I see it now. Never mind.
You got it? Okay. Did you have a question, Asa?
When we do that, we're still going to get the KG.
I won't be here, so I'll give it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
But I have a record of everybody who gets 95 or above, so I will hook you up tomorrow. All right, now let's take a look at this second example. This goes along with this top one. See, the signs are the same. You have a negative and a negative that we're adding. So when they're the same, we're going to find the sum. So we'll add these up. And again, we want to line up the decimals. So really, we ignore that sign until we get our work done here. Okay? So we can add this. Then we look back at the problem. Were they negative or were they positive? Delilah? Negative. Okay, so since they were negative, our answer will be negative. And we don't need the 0 there because it's come out to an exact -2. Any questions about adding your decimals? Good. Okay, let's take a look at what happens when we're subtracting decimals. Now, the great thing about subtracting decimals is we can just change them all into addition and do it exactly like we just did, okay? So use that KISS method. Keep it switch, switch. All right, so that means we can rewrite this as -3/10 plus -1/9, okay? So we're keeping it, switching it, switching it. Keep this one, switch that to addition, switch that to negative. Okay. Now that it's like that, we're going to go back to what we did above. The signs are the same, so we find the sum. So we're going to add those decimals, line them up. Oops, already making a mistake. Then we're going to add them. And I'm getting 2.2. Don't want to leave it at that though. Let's look back at the problem and see what our sign should be. Since these are both negative, our answer will be negative. Okay. Now let's rewrite this one. And Miss Lakey has a great way of doing this. She just does a little arc over this to make these both addition, okay? So it's and now it will become a negative plus a positive. So let me rewrite that. Now it follows this rule. If the signs are different, we find the difference. And again, we're gonna have to line up those decimals and it's gonna look a little funky, okay? So I'm gonna put the bigger number on top, so 7.00, and then 3.05. And I'm gonna subtract it. So notice what I did here. Because I knew that my decimals were gonna need to line up, I just added 2 decimal places to my 7 so that they did line up, okay? Now I'm going to do my subtraction, so I'm gonna have to do some borrowing. Then I need to look back at the problem. Was the bigger number negative or positive? Yeah, Isaiah. What?
Negative.
So negative 3.05 and positive 7.
It's negative 7.
Yeah, but we did the keep it switch. Okay, so it should actually be positive, but that's really good because I bet you're not the only one that's thinking like that. So when we switch it to an addition problem, you know, just pay attention to what the signs are after it's changed. So, yes, good. So this will be a positive 3 95/100. Okay. Sorry guys, I know I'm teaching fast. It's because I gotta go pretty soon, and I want to make sure you guys get all the information. But I am recording this, so if you need to watch it again tonight, you sure can. Okay, let's take a look at our multiplication here. And we have this awesome tool, our little triangle. So let's fill in our signs. Okay, this is a negative times a positive. So I cover up a negative and a positive, and I know that my answer to this problem will be negative. Okay, sometimes I just like to put that there right away so I don't forget at the end. Now when I multiply, I ignore all of the signs, and I don't even have to line up my decimal places, but it just so happens that they are for this one. Then I'm gonna multiply regularly, and I should have done it the other way because now it's gonna be, but 12 times 3 is 36. Now I'm gonna go back and count how many decimal places I have. So this is 1, 2, so I'm gonna go back out 1, 2. My decimal place is gonna go here, and I'm gonna put a 0 there because that's good math form. Okay. So I already know that my answer is gonna be negative. We decided that before we even did our math. So this is gonna be negative 36 hundredths. Okay, let's take a look at that second one. It's a negative times a negative. So if I cover up my negative and my negative, I know that my answer is going to be positive. Now we just need to do the math. So we're gonna do 4.5 times 4. When you multiply, you don't need to worry about lining up those decimals. So I'm just gonna multiply regularly. Okay. And I have 1 decimal place here, so I'm gonna come in 1 decimal place here. We already decided it was gonna be positive, so this is gonna be a positive 18. All right, everybody with me so far? Nice overview?
Yeah.
Okay, Let's do division real quick. Some of you were a little confused on homework assignments when you saw the division bar. That is just another way of writing division. Yeah, Jake.
Yesterday for problem 2, the answer checker said the answer was 2. The answer checker said it was wrong.
Yes, I fixed it, so you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. There was a mistake on the answer checker last night. I know that. It was number 2. Should have been positive 2. And I did change it. So, and when I change it, it automatically updates everybody's scores. So if you had put in 2 and it told you it was wrong, it then tells me that you got it right. Okay.
Oh.
And I appreciate those of you that emailed me. You guys are awesome. All right, let's take a look at division here. We have a negative divided by a positive. So negative divided by a positive. We know that our answer is going to be negative then. Okay. Now let's set up our division. Remember, the one on the top falls down and gets trapped. So we're going to do that number on the top inside because it's now trapped. Okay. Now, the thing you need to remember with dividing decimals is you have to move. You want to tell us about it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
You have to move the decimal point. The one on the outside cannot have the decimal point also. You have to move it over. And you have to remember to put the one in the middle, screw over again. So there's no decimal. There was also matching.
Yes, good. So you're moving it. So you want to move the number on the outside as many decimal places as it takes to get it to a whole number. And however many spaces you move the decimal here, you have to move it here, and then just bring it straight up. Okay? Now you can just divide like you normally would. And we know that 15 divided by 3 is 5. And we've already decided this will be a negative. So your answer will be negative 5. Okay? All right. Let's take a look at the next one. It is negative 0.6 divided by negative 1.8. Okay? Now, when it's written like this, you're basically putting it backwards when you set up your house. So the first number goes inside, and the second number is on the outside. And we already know that a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. So then we can just divide it. Now, however many spaces I move this number, I also have to move it this number. Move that decimal over and bring it straight up. Now, in this case, 18 cannot go into 6. There's just not enough. So I'm going to put a 0 here, and then I'm going to say, well, how many times does 18 go into 60? 3? Yeah? Because I'm thinking 20 into 60 is 3, and 18 is pretty close to that. So I'm going to do 3. This will be 54. Subtract it and get 6. Then I'm going to put another 0 down, and I get 60 again. Can anyone already see what's going to happen here? Ashlyn, say it out. It's going to start repeating. So it's just going to keep going. You're going to keep getting 3, 3, 3 over and over and over again. And how do we write it? Fabulous. Okay, so we already know our answer is positive. And because the 3 is repeating, we only need to put 1 3, and we put this bar over the top to tell us that it's going to keep going. All right? Everybody good so far? And you have your lovely notes to refer to as you're working on your homework. So check back if you're confused on your homework. So here's what you're going to do now. You're going to work on you're going to do your that quiz. And I still will be looking for people that get 95 or above, and I'll hook you up with your candy tomorrow. After you're done with that quiz, you're going to do your homework and answer checker. Okay, and then you're going to work on your I Ready My Path. And just a reminder, your I Ready My Path, if you complete 10 lessons, you're going to have a little something, like a little popcorn party and have have like a half of the class period off in Miss Lakey's room to relax, eat popcorn, and maybe watch something fun. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
If you do finish that, are you able to bring a friend with you?
I'm sorry, what?
If you do that, can you bring a friend with you?
No, I think we're only going to do the ones that actually reach their goal. So encourage your friend to also reach the goal. That way you guys can both go together. Okay? So we'll get a date for that on the calendar as soon as you guys get closer to completing 10 lessons. Any questions for me before I head out? And what are your guys' names?
Miss Johnson?
Miss Johnson
Miss Jenkins.
and Miss Jenkins. So if you guys need any help, they're here for you. All right?